Oftentimes, people wonder as to where all of this knowledge comes from. Everything that I have written on my website, everything that I talk about in my YouTube videos, everything that I teach during my coaching and counseling sessions and workshops, basically everything that I share as part of my spiritual, life coaching, and personal counseling journey, people have various thoughts, ideas, conjectures, and misunderstandings as to where all of this knowledge comes from. So I thought of taking some time and talking about it. Subscribe to my YouTube channel Manifest with Sagar and don't forget to hit the bell icon to receive the latest updates. My work is not research based in the sense I do not read out of books. I do not really watch other people's videos and share my extended thoughts based on those videos. There is nobody sitting behind me under the table or behind the camera prompting me what to say. And there is no spiritual organization or human being that I follow. Yes, I do read books. First, to ensure that my attention span is more than 10 seconds. Second, to ensure that I can sit at one place without being distracted by my mobile phones and do an activity such as reading for a substantial period of time. Reading is a very, very good habit. And third, it is always good to be aware of what some of the great minds in this world are thinking and where the thought process of this world is currently. Sometimes some people spend their entire lives researching on certain areas of life. Therefore, it is very, very helpful and good to be aware of those thought processes, to get to learn and read new words and sentences as well, and to not live under a rock or in a well like a frog. Whenever I quote some statements, I always make sure to attribute these authors or books. And I also recommend these self-development books that I read to my followers from time to time. Yes, I'll shortly come to where all of this knowledge comes from, but there is a very big misunderstanding as well that I have heard directly or indirectly from certain people, and that is that I was following a spiritual organization and now everything that I am sharing is my thoughts added to what I have learned at that spiritual organization. That misunderstanding exists because people like those frogs in the well simply do not know that there are thousands of spiritual organizations across the world and that everybody is sharing essentially the same message, which is that you are a creator, that you have the power to magnetize everything in this world. Peace is important, money is less important. So the basic ground foundational messages are the same, but everybody, thousands of spiritual organizations across the world are sharing those messages or those basic ideas about life in their own formats or based on their own understanding of life. Maybe their rules, decorum and discipline could vary from one person or one spiritual organization to another, but just because you heard that message first from someone, it does not mean that that was the only person or organization that brought that message into this world. So it is very important to peep out of that well and be aware of what everybody else is doing as well. You may have seen some people who are simply not interested in spirituality, or those who have absolutely no understanding of the law of attraction. The law of attraction being the everything about life, isn't it? But they seem to be living much better lives than the ones who are on this spiritual path or absolutely thriving in this world, living magnificent lives. That's because the knowledge about the self or life or mind is not out there in the air. It is within, isn't it? You may have all the books in the world but still fail to live a beautiful life. That's because you may not be connected within. So all that you need is that inner connection within. And by within, I mean your thought processes, your thoughts, your ideas, your understandings and perspectives of life. Once you have that connection, you have access to all the wisdom in this world, all the wisdom about your own life. Everything that I share is through this inner connectedness. And oftentimes people ask me, who is your guru? Who do you follow? That is the most difficult question for me to answer because there is no physical human being that I follow. Everything that I follow is non-physical. Various people, groups or spiritual organizations name the source of all this knowledge, the source of all this power based on their own understanding, interpretation, or based on what they want to teach, preach, or propagate in this world. Some people may call it Abraham, some people may call it Bashar, some people call it Shiv Baba as well. Some people call it infinite intelligence like Napoleon Hill did. Some people may call it higher consciousness as well. I am one of those people. Higher consciousness is the best way to describe your inner being. That is another word as well, term. So, based on what you, the word is not important, based on what you want to interpret it as, and by it I am referring to God. God that we all want to seek, or that we all want to connect with as part of our need to experience unconditional love and happiness. So, you can connect with that higher consciousness. It is believed that it exists 2 feet above your head, isn't it? It is not something that you can measure distance wise, not something that you can give a shape or form to, not something that you can describe in terms of space and time, but it is an experience. It is that connection that you can gain by quietening your mind for some time. I was talking about attention span for 10 seconds, isn't it? All that you need to do is regularly quieten your mind for 10 minutes, which is why being with yourself, being alone for at least some time daily is extremely important. Once you quieten your mind, you realize your potential. It is not about the knowledge, isn't it? It is not about those words. It is about that potential. It is about that power. It is about your ability. It is about that connection with yourself. So, as we believe that God exists within every single individual, it essentially means that that knowledge or that wisdom exists within each single individual in this world. Not everybody is able to break all of those layers and get access to that knowledge, because we all are very, very externally focused. But that knowledge or understanding or wisdom or potential or power is within. Which is why materials, books, videos are not really necessary. Although they are very, very helpful, they act as catalysts in making you or helping you realize who you are and what you are here for. But you do not really need them for very long term, as long as you understand who you are and practice it regularly. Once you practice being who you are, you gain access to everything that life is about, all the understanding about life. You gain access to solutions before problems occur, to answers before questions occur, to events before they actually occur. You can develop your intuitive power to such an extent that you can actually know for yourself what to do and what not to do. That is that inner guidance, that is that inner wisdom that we all are essentially looking for, isn't it? It is like a stream, it is like a river, it is like another dimension, and you have direct access to that stream, river, or dimension through your own mind. All that you need to do is quieten your mind on a regular basis, and you can gain access to that unconditional love, peace, and happiness that you may probably be seeking. Which is why it is said that everything that you are looking for out there is actually within you only. This talk is not about who God is, but you can read an elaborate article on this on awakenwithsagar.com. The link to that is in the description below.